The Punch TV.
Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And here do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. But the president was in Keta to see that a befitting burial was granted that illustrious woman, illustrious citizen of the Republic who had been at the helm of affairs at the school feeding program. Now, while the people of Keta are excited and are happy that the president came to mourn with them, they are also asking a very simple question. That, Mr. President, you came here to mourn with us, and they remember what you told the people of Mepe and those surrounding areas when the Akonsobo Dam spillage happened. That they didn't vote for you, but if it meant that those who didn't vote for you, if it had been for that reason, you wouldn't be here. Many condemned you for making that statement. They also are keeping in mind what you might have told Toby Fiti. They are also keeping in mind what you told the people of Ekumfi, that because they did not choose your preferred parliamentary candidate, you ignored them in terms of whatever development or whatever piece of the national cake they deserved. And they have all these things at the back of their minds, and they ask, Mr. President, you were able to attend a funeral, but since the tidal waves decided to worry us, and since your former Minister for Works and Housing, Asenso Boachi, decided that we were going to look for money to construct the tidal waves, and since the communities like Amutinu, Agave, and all those places got hit by the tidal waves, Mr. President, you have not made a statement about the people about the tidal waves for the people of Keta, and you have not also visited them in that regard, Mr. President. In fact, when the tidal waves had hit, Dr. Baumia was in the Volta region for the Volta Fair. I remember because I went to do a live outside broadcast there with Kukiti and the crew. I remember very well. I was there. So, Mr. President, that is the question the people of Keta are asking this morning. That you could attend the funeral, but you could not come to their aid when the tidal waves hit them. They are also asking me, Mr. President, to ask you when the Keta port will be fully operational. They're asking, because aside the tidal waves, that everybody has decided to ignore them. Everybody in officialdom has decided to ignore them. Sorry. They're asking the question. They say, when will their day come for you to visit them like the people of Apiati were visited? The Apiati situation was a negligent situation, but theirs is nature. They are asking, the people of Keta, they are asking that question, that are you ignoring them because they do not vote for you? Or are you ignoring them because you think that their time has not come? Or are you ignoring them because we don't have the money? Or are you ignoring them because you don't think it is necessary to pay attention to them? They are asking this morning. Find me Mr. Afenyomakin's video. And let's play the video before people start attacking. Play the video for me, please.
As government officials, what it is for us is that we must start base. That is why I said your critique, the Johnny Hughes, his this bite is good for us. Because if people will listen in government, that then you
The Punch TV.
what is really the case. Because it's not who you think you are as a leader, but what they think you are. So if the people think that you are not doing it right, your job is to situate it right and get it right.
Johnny's fight.
That's Alexander Kwame Afenyomakin, his majority leader, MP for Futu, and the leader of government business in parliament. This is what they had to say. And yesterday, somebody was telling me that, they would rather take, credit from party communicators than a leader in parliament. And I was shocked. And I asked myself, is this the MPP that my grandfather, Odoye Sykes, the BJ Daroches, the Araram Ponsens, is this the NPP that they left? I asked myself. But that's not the case. Last Friday, when we launched the Ghana Month here as Media General, our COO, Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Nyama, he made a very instructive point. There's a Ken Ofriata video in Parliament. Find that for me. He made a very instructive point. The point he made was about the fact that we should think Ghana and stop the partisanship. Think Ghana, build brand Ghana, and stop the partisanship. I'm paraphrasing. I'm quoting verbatim. And I agree with him. I agree with him because, and I'll demonstrate that to you in a bit, how we think of partisanship first before we think of Ghana. On the front page of the Daily Graphic this morning, the president is telling students that they should not just be excited about the grades, but they should also acquire skills. And that's something we have been saying here forever. That, for example, free SHS, we are happy to quote statistics that we got the highest number of passes in the WASI, and some say that what we even write is just for Ghana, specific to Ghana. It's not competitive among the other West African countries, but that's not the conversation. But we are busy telling the children that, oh, you got the highest, we got the this, we got the best, we got the that. And then I remember I said here that we should be interested in what employable skills these ones have. The employable skills that these ones have, we should be interested in those employable skills. And that is how to think Ghana. And that is how to think Ghana first. Today, the president, the chicken has come home to roost. And we are talking about the skills. I'm happy. Is it too late? I don't know.
The Punch
Could we have
TV.
invested a lot more time and energy telling these children, because this will be what? There's 6 or so free SHS graduates. If we had started from the first, some of who have completed university by now, would we have a different mental positioning for them so that they won't go around looking for jobs, but they will be creating jobs? That is how to think Ghana. So I agree with this, Nyama. Play the video for me, Mr. Foyata's video. Play for me.
Johnny's
Mr.
fight.
Speaker, work on the National Cathedral is progressing speedily and following the program of the contractors, and with God helping us, the National Cathedral is expected to be officially commissioned on March 6, 2024. Upon completion, the National Cathedral will provide a sacred space for formal religious activities of state and symbolize the enormous contribution of faith to nature.
So,
Johnny's fight.
Mr. Kenovrehata said that we will finish constructing the National Cathedral on the 6th of March in 2 days, 2024. The National Cathedral will be inaugurated, will be commissioned, because he has seen the speed of work that is being done. So it will be commissioned. The first question in thinking Ghana is, did we need a cathedral? In line with what my CEO said, and which is something that must make all of us start thinking. Number one, did we need a national cathedral? Number two, did we need to spend our monies on the national cathedral when we had other needs for children in school, pregnant women, all those things, people at the renal unit, Kolebu, all the hospitals, name them, Comfort Noche Teaching Hospital having 1.5 dialysis machine. Did we need the National Cathedral? And when people were still talking about it, even in COVID, that was a COVID time budget. When we were in COVID and still being charged COVID levy, we were still thinking of finishing the National Cathedral because we are busy trying to massage the ego of the president because he made a promise to God and he has not been able to fulfill it. So we are marshalling everything, damn everybody, in one person's interest. Is that how to think Ghana? Is that how to think Ghana? And for all the deep voices who have kept quiet about some of these things, is that how to think Ghana? These days, when they meet you, those big people, they can't even talk to you about patriotism anymore because they see that they have failed in their patriotic, in their patriotic line. They have failed. They have failed. There's a release from the Ministry of Education. Pull it up. Fantastic.
The Punch
This release was
TV.
written on the 3rd of March 2024. signed by my good friend, Mr. Kwesi Kwarteng.
Johnny's Fight.
He's the spokesperson. And that's another duplicitous role that has been created because the Ministry of Education has a technocrat who is a PRO. The Ghana Education Service has a technocrat who is a PRO. So the spokespersons and the PRO position, what's the difference? And that's where I ask the question, is that how to think Ghana? And that's where I ask the question, for example, what does a Minister of State do? A Minister of State at the President, what does he do if you have a minister already at the ministry? Is that how to think Ghana and save Ghana's purse? Now, it's a statement on senior high school feeding, food security following Joy News report. And the documentary has not even finished from Joy News. The Ministry of Education, in response to a recent documentary by Joy News highlighting concerns about poor feeding and irregular food supply in senior high schools, embarked on a comprehensive nationwide visitation and monitoring exercise in collaboration with the media. The objective was to gain a fair understanding of the issues raised and address them appropriately if found to be valid. Contrary to the narrative portrayed in the documentary mentioned above, our visitation revealed the following key findings. 1. Schools visited and reports from other schools indicated that the maintenance of an adequate stock of food in their storage facilities. 2. There is prompt and up-to-date payment of funds allocated for the purchase of perishable foods to all schools. 3. Feedback from heads of schools and students indicates overall satisfaction with the quality of food being served. The ministry is open to remedying any anomaly found anywhere and reassures parents, students, and the general public of our unwavering commitment to providing adequate, high quality, and timely food supplies to ensure an enhanced, free, and quality senior high school program. In the interim, we are joining you to exercise circumspection. Kwesi Kwarteng.
Johnny's Fight.
The Ministry of Education is investigating itself. That's the first thing you should know. So somebody calls you a thief, and then the first thing you do is to constitute an investigation team with you as chairman to investigate yourself, to clear yourself, or to say whether you are a thief or not. That's what the Ministry of Education is doing. Number 2, we know very well in this country, that's how to think Ghana. We know very well in this country that when heads speak to the media and tell them about the situation in their schools, whether it's about Ministry of Education, GES that has failed to pay electricity bills and their lights are cut off, or whether they don't have furniture, or whether the children are sleeping out there, or whether food shortage has hit the school, or water shortage, whatever it is, the same GES would interdict headmasters and headmistresses. Up until now, nobody has told us what Dr. Shanofori did at WAS. Nobody. So the ministry is investigating.
The Punch TV.
I'm using the analogy of a thief constituting an investigative team to investigate himself. That's 1. 2, you know that you will be intimidated when the situation comes to bear. Then the GES and the ministry, they pick the media and go along with it and say, Madam Headmistress, we are from the Ministry of Education. We have come to you. We hear that you have no food shortage. This is the media. What do you say to them? What kind of WAP investigation is that? If the ministry is minded to get the actual situation on the ground, they should leave the schools open and get the media to go there on our own and speak to the students and ask them the quality of food they are eating, and then speak to the heads off camera, and then ask them what the real situation is on the ground, and assure the headmasters and headmistresses that nobody will be interdicted or picked on or punished. That is how to build Ghana. You don't polish the dirt. You expose it, you treat the wound, you stop the bleeding, treat before you start treating the wound. Here, we have not stopped the bleeding. We are forcing the wound to die with the bleeding still happening. That's what the ministry is doing. You think that the parents who take food to the schools week on week just to go and supplement what is being given at school because the nutritional quality is doubtable, you think that the parents don't have anything in their heads and they do that just for fun or to give the government a bad name? There are schools in this country where the children are asked to bring their own sugar and their own milk to come and eat cocoa.
The Punch TV.
We need to think Ghana. We need to really, really, really think Ghana. That's why I agree with my chief operating officer. This letter, for example, that has been written is in a very bad taste. I'll show you another one.